I asked you guys on my Instagram story what topic you wanted me to tackle this week, and you came out strong from the gate saying that you wanted to know what I wish I had known before I started law school, which is kind of funny to me because ultimately that's what this whole channel and every video on it is about, to partially answer that question for any given topic in as much depth as possible. But the people have spoken and I'm happy to oblige. So today I'll be telling you the top 3 things that I wish I had known before I went to law school. Before we get into this thing, make sure that you're subscribed. It really helps me out, and I would love your support as we continue to grow this channel to help as many of you as possible. Alright, let's get into this thing. The first thing that I wish I had known before I started law school was that it's not physically possible to be happy, healthy, and academically successful all the time. That sounds really depressing to say, but I'm not trying to be a downer here. Once I finally started realizing this about 2 months ago, it was actually really freeing. And you'll see this theme throughout the other 2 points when we get to them. What I mean by it not being physically possible is that there's just not enough hours in the day. So if I sleep 8 hours a night, that leaves 16 hours in the day for me to go to law school, exercise, shower, get ready, make food, eat food, maybe call home, do these YouTube videos, etc. And 16 hours does sound like a lot of time, but let's think through that. For me to look nice and be awake and feel ready to fully tackle the day, it takes about an hour and a half to get ready. That's showering, eating breakfast, putting on my makeup, drying my hair, picking out what I'm gonna wear, etc. I can get ready in like 15 minutes, but if we're talking entirely happy like my original statement said, I need that hour and a half. You add an hour in exercise and you're already down 2.5 hours from that 16. Okay, so this video is gonna take way more math than I originally intended. On any given day, I'm on average at the school from about 10:30 to 4 p.m. And that's pretty much just classes and eating lunch. For the most part, I can't meaningfully use that time for anything else and still be entirely academically successful. Not even factoring travel time into this, so far if I went to bed at midnight, got up at 8, we're already at 4, and so far all I've done is my morning routine, exercise, and go to class. Got 8 hours until midnight. How are we spending those 8 hours? Well, the ABA says that you should spend 2 hours outside of class for every 1 hour in class, which means for me that I'm supposed to spend about 7 hours on homework for a night where I had 3 classes. Now I only have 1 hour left to make dinner, eat dinner, call home, get ready for bed, make a YouTube video, maybe watch a little bit of Netflix, do my devotion, do my bullet journal for the day. I could list more, but you see where I'm going. Coming to the realization that it wasn't my fault that I couldn't do everything that I thought I was expected to do because it wasn't physically possible to do was a huge relief off my shoulders. And it sounds pretty common sense, I guess, saying it now, but I always went my whole life making sure that I could check off every box, every single expectation my professors had of me, every expectation my friends had of me, my family, and I had of me. This leads me to the second thing I wish I had known before I started law school, which is it's okay to not finish all of the reading for class sometimes. And whoa, if you're somebody who knows me outside of my YouTube channel, you know that's a crazy thing to come from me. I can honestly say I had never in my life gone to class before knowing I hadn't completed all of the homework. Sure, there had been times where I'd mistakenly read the wrong thing or missed something that the teacher had assigned last minute. That happens to everybody. But intentionally not finishing, and no shade if that was you and you needed to prioritize other things in your life, because that's where I'm at now. Prior to law school, it was possible for me to always do all of the homework and generally be pretty healthy, happy, and successful in the other parts of my life. Getting to law school though and facing an actually impossible schedule, meaning that I needed to sometimes not prioritize my schoolwork because I had other things going on or because I was having a mental breakdown, was a really big moment for me. It caused so much stress and tears and frustration, a feeling like I wasn't good enough. I wish somebody that had already gone through this before had told me before I went to law school that I was going to face this issue and to start mentally coming to terms with it. And listen, if you get to law school or are in law school and you have found a way to deal with all of this that I just haven't figured out yet, please let me know in the comments below. Would love to learn from you. Especially because now that I have realized that I don't have to do all of the reading for class and it's okay, the world doesn't end, I've lost a little bit of my motivation to be as good of a student as I can be. And I'm doing my best to overcome that, especially in the midst of this really weird situation. But having gone a couple weeks where I skimmed versus read thoroughly, or skipped the dissent and just read the majority opinion, and it turning out alright, I kind of don't want to go back. So if you find yourself in that boat, here's me being the person I wish that I had to tell you it's going to be okay. You're not a bad person, you're not a bad student if you can't finish everything every time. Do your best, but don't beat yourself up if it doesn't happen today. You can always try again tomorrow. The last thing that I've learned that I wish I had known before I started law school is that despite all of the pressures from faculty, advisors, students, and professionals, the traditional and conventional programs and opportunities for participation outside of class aren't right for everybody. I'm talking about journals, clerkships, student organizations. It is okay if your answer to those things needs to be not yet, or even no, it's not right for me. For example, I want to be a prosecutor, probably in a district attorney's office. And while being on a journal or serving as a clerk for a judge could be really beneficial to my resume, I personally believe, knowing myself and how I work, that working in a clinic, taking specialized classes, working in other government offices, and doing volunteer work through targeted organizations like Young Advocates for the Incarcerated or Criminal Law Society is going to be more beneficial and helpful into molding me into the attorney that I aspire to be. These traditional and exciting methods of boosting your resume are really cool opportunities that you should absolutely look into, and don't just write off because it seems like too much work or boring or something like that. There's a reason that the large majority of law students work really hard to be a part of these programs, so they absolutely deserve your consideration. But if you already know what you want to do and that thing isn't being a partner in the law firm or president of the United States, you can strategically forge your own path. It might be a little difficult and you're definitely going to get some sideways glances from people who believe that they know better than you, and maybe they do. But I encourage you to confidently make your own path if you feel comfortable doing so. An acquaintance of mine who actually graduated second in his class at Washington University last year told me that he didn't do any journals, he wasn't a clerk, really didn't participate in student organizations either. He just focused on his classes to get the highest grades that he could, and then ended up scoring exactly the job that he wanted. All this to say, I wish I had known that I was going to face these pressures and had already considered them ahead of time so that I could be more confident in the path that I have now chosen. I think I'm okay where I am now, but it certainly would have made it a little easier, and I hope that this video helps make it a little easier for you too. That's all for today, guys. I hope that you're staying safe out there, and if any of you were scheduled to take the LSAT this summer, know that my thoughts and prayers are with you. I would not want to be going through that situation, and hopefully in the next week or two I will have a new video for you on the LSAT Flex and what that might look like. Let me know if you have any particular questions about that or anything else that I've said in the comments below. Tell me what you thought about this video using either the thumbs up or the thumbs down. I really appreciate the feedback. I'll see you all next week, and until then, God bless.